this is our first ever episode, so it's really exciting. So before we get into anything, I think it's important that we look at what's going on in the world of nerd news. So let's first look at over here. I heard of all of the things. Did you guys know that they're doing a documentary about the video game GoldenEye 64? Yeah, pretty cool. There's going to be a documentary about GoldenEye 64. It's going to be the first documentary ever to split into 4 screens as you're watching it. So it will ruin friendships in the 90s. It's going to be great. Oh yeah. So, because I am such a professional that I had my notes on hand before I got started. So there is a 31-year-old Chinese man who feels so strongly about the dating scene and giving up on it that he is marrying a robot that he created himself. That's right, he is marrying a robot. The only good thing I see out of this is that we are finally going to have a concrete answer to whether or not Chobits is creepy. Yeah, it turns out it's extremely creepy. I have some sad news, unfortunately, to talk about. So some of you might have heard in Japan they are producing an Attack, they were producing, no longer, they were producing an Attack on Titan musical. Tragically, the musical ended before it could even have its debut when one of the actors died during rehearsal. Very sad news. On a seemingly unrelated note, here on Broadway, the tagline for Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark has changed to comparatively safe. Weird, right? I'm sure it's not related. I'm sure. So there's going to be a VR game based on Dragon Ball Z coming out soon. Yeah, it is going to let you charge up and fire your very own ki blast, your own Kamehameha. Isn't that cool? Anyone else? Yeah? Doing your own Kamehameha? The bad news is, in order to do it, you have to scream for like an hour straight. And the game requires you to cut over to your friends commenting on whether or not you're going to do it. So, ups and downs, right? Last but not least, this August, the thing that I have been waiting for since I was 5 freaking years old is finally going to happen in real life. I know, giant robot fight. Actual real life giant robot fight, it's happening. The United States has bringing forward its own robot known as Megabot, which will be clashing with the heavy industry's also piloted robot by the name of Kuratas from Japan. America versus Japan, giant robot throwdown, and I have been waiting my entire life to say this, so let me be the first person to say, Gundam fight all set, ready, go! Oh my god, we have such a show ahead for you guys. I'm so jazzed, it's not even funny. So, yeah, we've got cosplayer, advocate, and just general awesome artist here today. We've got Brichibi Cosplay. Really excited to have her here. Give her a round of applause.
We're a large crowd.
What?
We're a large crowd.
We're a huge crowd right now. I can't even deal with this. Making the internet a much scarier place, one story at a time. I'm really happy to have Mr. Creepypasta here with us this fine morning. Pretty cool, right? And I've got hoping to hear from him soon. We should have the comedic stylings of the one and only Uncle Yo, a nerd comedian. Oh, there he just walked in. Great. Hey, fantastic stuff. Great. Everything is the way the PowerPoint said it would be. Oh, who am I kidding? I can't afford PowerPoint. This is the knockoff, you guys. All right, let's move on. I'm going to just go over to here, and we're going to look at some other stuff. I've got a little bit. Some of you might not know this, but we like anime characters here at Takoyaki quite a bit. So let's hit the button, Miles. We like anime characters. You know, scary anime characters. But not all anime characters are able to keep their day jobs, and sometimes they need to do some, hit the button again, and again, anime character moonlighting. Because let me tell you, sometimes being the devil doesn't pay the bills, but you know what does? Working at McDonald's. So let's first start out with one of the more beloved series. Let's go to Neon Genesis Evangelion. So what does Gendo Ikari do when he's not, secretly putting his child in a robot based on his wife? Well, he is a member of the Trump EPA. I know, it's kind of surprising. I just wouldn't have expected that, but some people do this, some people do that. Let's look at Pen Pen. This is actually, Pen Pen is an interesting character in what he's doing these days, because this is actually a plot hole that was never addressed in the series. He's doing life for killing Kaji. He's the real culprit. I bet you didn't know that. And last, all of you care about Shinji, right? Because you all love Shinji so much because he's the most beloved character. What's he doing? He's in Angel Country because he just straight up became Hunter S. Thompson. I don't know. It's scary stuff when you're on the road. We gotta keep it. What's next? So, meanwhile, here in Naruto ended recently, so what have those characters been up to? I bet you're curious. Well, let's first look at Sakura. She's actually doing demolition for construction companies. Right? I mean, that seems like a good fit for her. Okay, Sasuke, a beloved... Do people like Sasuke? I've watched like one episode of Naruto. Do people like this guy? What?
One episode more than me.
Okay, see, I've got ahead. Okay, so what is he doing? Turns out that Sasuke spends his days writing lyrics for angry white boy rock music. Hit that up. What's he got right there? Oh, yeah, all that, Limp Bizkit. He's doing their next album. So that's what he's been doing these days. Let's move on to something else. No one likes Sasuke. That's what I learned from this. No one likes Sasuke. And Tsunade. Everyone loves Tsunade and her big personality. So she's actually going to Gamblers Anonymous these days. So at least she's getting her life together, okay? You have to respect that. Respect that. All right, let's move over. Yuri on Ice is a very popular show. So everyone loves these characters. What are they doing these days? They're still training! What do you think they're doing? My God, hit the button again! They're professional athletes! You thought they would have something silly to do, didn't you? Alright, so Attack on Titan. Everyone loves Attack on Titan. Everyone expects us to talk about the human characters. But you know what? The Titans have lives too. Like, for example, the Colossal Titan. He's cosplaying Deadpool this weekend. Right? I didn't see that one coming. Remember that Derpy Titan? Which one, right? The one that's animated really goofy. Turns out, he's that guy in the T-Rex costume. You see at every rave. I know, it doesn't really have a whole lot going on. And last but certainly not least, remember that Titan that ate Aaron's mom? Spoilers for the first episode. Modeling the effects of braces. This is why you take care of your teeth, kids. Quality stuff right there. And this is a big one. Most of you probably don't know, some of you might know Fist of the North Star. A lot of you like it more now, maybe after Team 4 Star did that funny video. What is Kenshiro doing? He's actually helping with rehab for handicapped anime characters. He helps them get their stuff together. He's doing something constructive. He's a good guy. Look at him. He's got a clipboard. You're already healed. Believe in yourself. Last but certainly not least, one of my favorite characters. We actually have an audio clip of what he does these days. We have Starscream from the Transformers hit the button. He's a motivational speaker. So let's see, hopefully this should work. Let's hit the button again. We should be able to hear what he...
When I woke up, I said to myself, Starscream, I'm going to be leader of the Decepticons. And it wasn't easy. I told people, and I was laughed down and pushed about. but I never gave up on my dream, and neither should you. Now repeat after me. My dreams matter. My friend Megatron, he was negative about my aims. Maybe because he was a toxic friend, mostly because he was leader of the Decepticons. But I worked hard every day because I would keep telling myself, you deserve this. And you can too if you keep telling yourself, my dreams matter, and you deserve this. And throw Megatron out of the shuttle the first chance you get.
Yeah, I so clearly see Starscream, he's not just getting his life together, he's getting other people's lives together. So that was totally not an embarrassing attempt to throw one of our actors' voices through a filter, I can tell you that.
That was downright brutal kiss.
I see what you did there, sir.
Took a while, but the idea forms itself.
I hate everything right now. Okay, so once again, welcome to Talk-Oyaki with Nick Izumi. That sure was something. We are going to take a short break, and right after that, we're going to have Brichibi Cosplay coming up here. So we'll be back in just a second. And we are back. All right, welcome once again to Talk-Oyaki. First guest this fine morning. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be awake. Let's give a round of applause for Brichibi Cosplay. Welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Just grab a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome to obviously the very professionally put together first episode of this hit late night show that, what am I talking about? Yeah, obviously this is heavily rehearsed and scripted, and we have everything going on. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing great. So, we know I've seen a lot of your stuff in the artist alley. I know you do a lot of stuff with the cosplay scene and a lot of stuff with just representation in media. I absolutely love so much of your work.
Aw, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about, I guess let's start with your stuff with cosplay. How long have you been into it? What got you into it?
So, in 2002, I went to a little convention called Anime Central back before it was huge. I didn't know what cosplay was, but I was really into anime, and my dad drove me to the convention, and we got lost on the way, which is embarrassing because I'm actually from Chicago. But we were driving and we didn't know where to go, and I looked out the window and I saw Vash the Stampede walking down the sidewalk. And I said, Dad, I think we go that way. And so we followed Vash and walked into the hotel, and I discovered cosplay, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I am a kid that dressed up for Halloween. There are embarrassing pictures on the internet because my mother discovered Facebook. She has my storm. It's a really adorable picture of me. It's probably the cutest I've ever looked. But after that,
Do you say Storm?
it was Storm.
From the X-Men.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think my dad made it because it didn't no, it's not Storm. Sorry, it's She-Ra because I have the terrible mask and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
But after
So
that,
cool.
I met my partner the year before on a Gundam Wing Yaoi mailing list because we have the most embarrassing love story ever told. And
I also met my significant other because of Gundam. So
Yes!
We have something in common.
we do.
That's,
And I met her in person at Anime Central, and she was cosplaying Hot Ice Hilda from Outlaw Star. Pictures don't exist because we didn't have digital cameras back then. And she told me what cosplay was, and I decided I wanted to be a part of it. And 2 years later, I did Yoko Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho. It was at Anime Detour's very first year. I was terrified because I'm not a tall white guy. And I was in the bathroom, terrified to walk outside, and my friend told me to go out and be the best big-breasted black Yoko Crumb I could be. And I said, sure, let's do it. And then I've been cosplaying ever since.
That's such a fantastic. Like you brought something up in there, and I kind of would love to bounce off of that.
Yeah.
So cosplay is something that that is for everyone.
Exactly.
And I know you're a big advocate of that. What do you you've done some panels about that in the past, right?
Yeah.
What do you have to say for anyone who might be feeling like that they're not right for cosplay, or that they don't fit a character or a role?
I would say to go for it. A lot of people get worried because they see the bullying online. I've been bullied. I'll tell that story real quick if you don't mind.
Go for it. This is about you.
In 2013, I cosplayed Princess Peach from Super Smash Brothers. I decided to retire the costume, which is ironic because I'm Peach today. But I posted the pictures online, and a Tumblr called Cosplaying While Black retweeted it, or not retweeted it, reblogged it because it's Tumblr. And it got a lot of hits, and I was super excited. And then I got one very persistent person on Tumblr who decided to make fun of me, and it was round-the-clock harassment. Princess Whale, go fry some chicken, all this other stuff. And people on Tumblr were defending me, which is great, but in 2013, I tell everybody in the world, I turned 30, so I stopped caring as much. When you hit 30, something happens in your brain, I think, where you just stop caring when people decide to like pick on you for no reason. And so I went to my freezer, I pulled out chicken, I defrosted it, I fried it, and I posted pictures online in response. It still exists online too. And my partner came home and I said, take pictures, because I'm gonna post all of these. And then I wrote about it for Exo Jane, and then it exploded. And when your friends tell you explode on the internet, you don't believe them because your friends over-exaggerate, but they meant it. It actually did explode on the internet. And people I didn't even know, like voice actors, were sharing my article about, you know, I got bullied, here's what I did. And I always feel like cosplay bullying is so weird because we're all dressing up and playing make-believe, and we're all a bunch of nerds and geeks, and we're trying to have fun. So I don't have time to bully people because I'm too busy enjoying the weekend and finding people who actually know what Attack on Titan is. And when we say I met on a Gundam Wing Yellow Millionless, people are like, oh my God, that's amazing! And you know, on Monday morning when I go back to the real world, it's weird, but for 3 days in costume, it's normal at a convention. So I just started talking about it. I do panels, I write about it for websites, I write about it on my page, and if you want to cosplay, you really should just do it. I actually can't sew. My partner makes all my costumes. We also do, for Halloween, we do thrifty cosplays. So we actually go to Savers and spend as little money as possible to do costumes. And it's like, if you have a costume in your closet, do it. If you have a costume at the thrift store, do it. If you're a master seamstress, do it. If you're not a master seamstress, commission somebody. There's no wrong way to cosplay. It's all about the creativity and the fun. And I can tell you as a creator who is doing a book series who actually had someone cosplay one of her characters a month ago. And the first thing this girl said was, I'm sorry, I didn't get the wig the way I wanted. And my response was, do you think I care? You're cosplaying my character right now, and everyone can hear me crying. I was the girl that cried at Shudocon because I cried so loud when she came up to my table. And I'm like, this is what creators care about. They are honored and flattered that you want to be their creations. And if you're like a different body type or a different race, they don't care because you're being Spider-Man or Superman or in my case, a magical girl for a book series that's not even out yet.
So I want to rewind that just a little bit. Are you telling me that I shouldn't take dressing as a cartoon character from a Japanese cartoon meant for someone half my age super seriously?
No, you should. You should have fun with it. It's all about having fun.
Mind blown. Okay, so I know I've heard some talk about some of the panels you've done about representation in media and the importance of, and just the importance of getting diversity out there in films and movies and comics and all of that good stuff. I know that I'm personally I can't relate as much because I'm in and by that I mean I'm an ally who is stuck with you're a white dude. Literally every movie is made to appeal to me.
Right.
And it's like, and here I am in the corner being like, yeah, but what if every protagonist in every movie didn't look like me? So going off that note, we have had a recent anime adaptation that has hit theaters that I have been very, I'm going to politely say livid about.
Is there no slurring on your show?
We're in the morning, and I don't know.
Is it a family-friendly program?
This is in theory a family-friendly program.
Okay.
So let's not go too. So I've done several videos about the movie Dragon Ball Evolution. I'm just so sick of I'm so sick of hearing excuses like, he's an alien, he could be any race, and that race always just manages to turn into white. What are your thoughts on Ghost in the Shell and how it is tanking at the box office right now?
So, I actually recently wrote an article about this from a creator point of view, because I'm a creator. Because a lot of people like to point to the creator, and you're like, the creator said it was okay, so therefore it's totally fine. And I wrote an article about being a woman of color who is queer, who took forever to have a work that's about women of color who are queer, and how all my books have white male protagonists up until like this point. And I was explaining, when you're a creator, and a couple of things happen. One, I grew up with very little representation. I had Storm from X-Men, she's amazing.
Right.
And then I went looking for more, and there wasn't really more. And so I actually thought, when I was writing, well, I have to make white protagonists, because that's what's given to me, that's what's shown to me, that's what people tell me makes money. So I actually thought that's what I had to do in order to get my work out there.
My heart is breaking.
I mean,
no, really, like this is really frustrating.
And that's what
it should be frustrating to everyone, though. Really.
And every time someone's like, well, this person of color is okay with it. And I'm like, well, there's a couple different reasons. A, we write what we know. And in the world of geekdom, it's white, male, straight protagonist. Two, the backlash. When we do get, like, people of color or anybody who's not the default is sometimes heartbreaking. I always point to Leslie Jones from Ghostbusters, because as much as, and I actually had to explain this to a woman at a panel a month ago, because I was like, Leslie Jones got a huge amount of backlash, and she was like, well, the entire cast did. And I was like, no, that's true, but only one of them had to delete her Twitter. Only one of them had their social media hacked, and it was the black woman. And that happens a lot. Like Finn from Star Wars got backlash. Rue from Hunger Games got backlash, and her character is actually written to be a darker character. And the third thing I point to is support. And I tell people, when I saw Leslie Jones get attacked and she got no support from her co-stars, I think about that a lot, because then I get worried, like, okay, if I do this.
Wow, I didn't even think about
None of the co-stars got, I think Bill Murray said something, maybe, but like none of the three other female leads supported her at all. So when I'm watching that, and I'm like, wow, even people who say they're allies don't speak up for black women in a lot of cases. So then when I'm sitting down and making my work, my brain's like, will it be easier if I just do a straight white guy because they don't get harassed like black women do? So when people point to the creator and they're like, see, he said it was okay, and I'm like, yeah, there's probably a lot of terrible reasons why that, you know, the original creator or director or whatever said it was okay. On top of that, Ghost in the Shell has the, Japan doesn't have the same issues we do.
I was about to say, yeah, Like,
They don't.
you can't ask, hey, random Japanese person on the street, do you care that actors from a different country didn't get a part? Of course they don't care.
And
I'm sorry, of course they don't.
And I have Asian American friends who are like, this could have been our moment. This could have been our character. This could have been our flagship awesome heroine. And there's a video, and I don't remember who did the video. I quoted it in my article, but someone did a video of a young Asian girl walking into a comic book store and feeling like she had nobody. And then she saw Ghost in the Shell, like the manga, and she just like lit up and she took it home. It fast forwards to her being an adult and seeing the movie poster, and she just turns like that little girl who's alone again. And I don't remember who made the video, but that's how I felt when I saw Storm. I didn't realize I wanted representation, and I saw her on the screen, and I'm like, oh my God, I can be a hero. That's awesome. Where's the rest of the black ladies? Oh, they're not here. And plus size and queer and like all that stuff. So I'm like, it's frustrating when you hear the excuses, because they're the same excuses we hear all the time.
They're an alien, they're a robot, they can be any race. That race
and I
is
always
just always
ask,
white.
And I'm like, if it's not a big deal, why can't they be a person of color then? Like, why can't they be? Like, that's the biggest question. Like, why don't you want them to be? Why do they have to be white? And I talk about that in my panel a lot, and all the points you're bringing up I talk about too. And it's interesting because my partner is white, so she's also like, I want to see different characters. I'm tired of looking at girls who look like me all the time telling the same story. So when you said that's like, that's what she tells me all the time. She's like, I want something different. I really do, and I'm so sorry it doesn't happen for you. And I'm like, so you're coming from a point of view where you want something different. I'm coming from a point of view where I just want to see me done well at least once in my lifetime.
Well, thank you so much for opening up to us and talking to us this weekend. What other panels can we see you at?
I have Love Your Cosplay Body in half an hour.
Okay.
And then there's From Fan Fiction to Professional Writing at 6 tonight. That's us talking about how we went from role-playing with anime characters to writing books. And we're also in the vendor room, selling our books and things like that. Those are the last two panels we have. We technically have Cards Against Humanity at midnight, but that's gonna be more fun and not family friendly.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brianna, thank you so much for coming on the show. Brichibi Cosplay, one of the most awesome people around. Give her a round of applause. For our next guest, we have a little segment that I wanted that we have called Who Would Win in a Fight? And everyone knows that just having me talk about something doesn't make it sound very professional, but if we say it with a British accent, it's going to sound so much better. So, from our writer's room, I'd like to present my good friend Miles Reed the Botto.
Okay. This year is the third season of Rick and Morty, and unfortunately also sees the last year of Peter Capaldi as the Fantastic 12th Doctor. I'd like to say, for the next Doctor, I would always like to see someone, either not white or not male. To make the internet explode, I want it to be Whoopi Goldberg. But, of course, start thinking about it, think, who would win in a fight between Rick Sanchez and the Doctor? Now, the thing is, you're probably all thinking, Miles, how can you be objective about Doctor Who? Well, first of all, I can be very objective. Oh, camera. Now, the Doctor and Rick are very similar characters. They are genius, adventurous scientists, both with questionable moral stances and questionable treatment about their young proteges. Although Rick might be, despite everything that Rick is horrible, Rick has never erased Morty's memory like the 10th Doctor did to Donna.
Oh.
And of course, we're going to stick with 12th Doctor because, as much as I like to talk about the first Doctor versus Rick, we don't have time. Now, the big difference, I think, is that Rick actually uses a gun, whereas the Doctor is very much, no guns, I don't use guns or violence, I'm just going to trick and manipulate you into blowing yourselves up so I win on a moral technicality. And of course, Rick doesn't time travel, and the Doctor has the much cooler TARDIS. And of course, they'll meet up, and they're very similar people. And of course, when you meet someone similar, you hate them immediately. So the two of them will start fighting, and then Morty will be like, well, oh geez, Rick, we can't get into a fight. And the Doctor will be like, I'm Scottish, I'm the Doctor, and I help people. And Rick would just be drunk in a corner, and Rick would pull his gun. And I worked about this. I spent hours working. Who would win in a fight between Rick and the Doctor? Using the Socratic method, how could this work out? I worked out the only way this fight could end is that another telephone box that can travel in time turns up, and out come Ted, Theodore, Logan, and Bill as President Esquire, who of course are the band Wild Stallions! And they would play some of the awesome rock music, and everyone would just kind of get along, because in the end, the music of Wild Stallions will bring the world together. Even morally questionable bastards like Rick Sanchez and the Doctor.
So, thank you, Miles. Next up, we have our other guest. He comes from the scary parts of the internet, so I've been told anyway. The master of scary stories, and not a scary can of Chef Boyardee, which was what I was expecting. Mr. Creepypasta, come on up. Round of applause. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. Everyone gets a water. This is a water. This is an equally distributed water facility. This is, as you can see, I'm not wearing a creepy gas mask. I've never been in Mad Max, so.
Thanks for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy this is happening at all. Welcome. So. You're from the scary parts of the internet. What do you do? What's your story?
I'm a YouTuber. I tell scary stories on the internet. They're all creepypastas. They're not things that, most of them are things that I write. A lot of them are about, or at least the channel has become more about promoting smaller, unpublished authors or self-published authors. So I can kind of use the platform that I built up over the years to allow them to get to a much wider audience, to be able to perfect their craft as well as build up the name for themselves.
Okay, so what got you started with scary stories? What is that? What made you? Because I'm coming at it from the perspective of scary things are not really my jam. One time, I only recently got into survival horror games, and the only reason that happened was my aforementioned spouse shoved me in a dark basement and made me play Silent Hill 2.
Good. No, that's great.
So you might be biased.
No.
So I kind of this kind of stuff. Kind of what makes you drawn to it? Because
specifically what draws me to horror is the fact that horror is one of these mediums that's just absolutely amazing. It's the same thing that draws you to wanting to ride a roller coaster. Like you go over to a theme park and you have a roller coaster that you know is safe, but you get the thrill out of it for at least a brief amount of time. You're kind of leaving from what you know is your comfort zone. You're leaving from just sitting down in a chair in a room to being on this beast of a machine that just takes you around at breakneck speeds, going through turns and things like that for 1-2 minutes, and you have your heart, jumping into your throat and beating incredibly fast at the experience that you're having. That's what horror is. It takes you out of that comfort zone you have in your everyday life, and it suddenly puts you into a dangerous scenario. The same thing you said, you're locked in a basement playing Silent Hill 2. I recall when I was in college, the first time I ever played Silent Hill 2, it was at night, I was with my 2 roommates, the lights were off and everything, and we were, for at least, a couple of hours in between going to classes and stuff, we were there, terrified, shaking in our boots, locked up inside of this little tiny apartment that none of us could afford, and we were just terrified in the dark playing this game because it gave us a little bit of time away from being trapped doing college work for God knows how long. Those are the dark days. But Yeah, that was what got me into horror, actually. I think was it probably Silent Hill 2 and a lot of the Friday the 13th movies. I absolutely loved those when I was in high school. I used to watch them all the time. These 1980s slasher films that were like more comedy. Yeah, and at this point now more comedy than they were horror. But even still, I remember when I watched Friday the 13th Part 6 and I was like 13 or 12 or something like that. I thought that it was still like, oh God, is he going to kill the kids? like I was terrified of it then, but like now I watch it all the time just for fun. But I think those are the things that really got me started into getting into horror.
So you like getting relatively unknown authors and giving them some airtime. How do you find them? How do you find these people? Do you look for scary stories you think are scary? Do they come to you?
These days they more or less come to me.
Okay.
I have my email that I get in contact with many different people, and they'll send me submissions and stuff like, these are things I'm working on for a new book. I'd like for you to take a look or use this on your channel, or many different times I've used this for class. You want to take a look at this for your channel? There was a book that we just put out last September, which is a Creepypasta collection, and the second volume comes out this May. But that book was the same exact thing. When Simon & Schuster contacted me, and they wanted me to write tell me about to write an autobiography or something like that, and talk about the YouTube channel or like the horror in general. They just wanted me to do something, and I was like, instead of doing that, more in spirit with the channel, what I prefer to do is contact these authors I know of, these guys that haven't had a shot at doing national distribution with publishing, and let's try giving them a shot with this. So it became a collection that is able to sell off my name, but it still has all of them, and not to mention they also get in contact with Simon & Schuster with their ideas and their novels, and their things to be able to skyrocket off of that and actually start working on a platform to become career authors. There's a guy in the book who's 17 years old, and I thought that the work that he did, because he was writing audio dramas on the channel, he was just submitting these things that he's been writing just in his free time, and they're absolutely incredible. He has these wonderful ideas for strange body horror and weird paranormal things that he has in his head that is just phenomenal, and I needed that in the book. I thought that was just the greatest thing. And he's 17, so he's getting his parents to sign off on all the permissions to be able to use stories and stuff. But he needed to get out there because I feel like he could be one of these new big guys. He's hopefully good grammar. You see him on the channel a lot, or Isaac.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really talented kid.
So, one more question that comes to mind. My favorite horror movie is it's a Spanish film called The Orphanage. There's when I first saw that, I had to go to a theater several miles away to go see it, foreign horror film. When I went to bed that night, I remembered thinking that I saw the kid in the creepy burlap mask in the corner of my room all night. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had a story that just stuck with you, and it's just that creepiness is always following you around?
Oh yeah. So even it's very rare for me to find a story that actually really kind of gets to me.
Right.
Because I've just been doing this for so long. I know 1,200 different things that are on the channel. But there's one story, and I'll end up doing it in my panel in about an hour, that I always say is the scariest story I've ever done. And it's because it's very, very real. It's a story that's called You're Not Scared, Right? And it's really just a story in first person that talks about someone who's in their bed at home and attempting to go to sleep. And I think everybody kind of goes to this scenario where whenever it's incredibly, incredibly quiet, you kind of get that feeling oh, okay, this should be calming. I should be able to, just go to sleep because there's no sound. But instead, you kind of have that super sense where you start to hear every tiny little sound in the house, and your imagination starts to run wild with it to say, every small creak could have been a door closing. And the more you think about it, the more your mind kind of changes that thing from, that was probably a door closing. And if that was a door closing, then it was probably the back door. And I probably didn't lock the back door. And if I didn't lock the back door, then somebody's in the house right now. Mm-hmm. And it really starts taking that whole thing until the main character's waiting and just praying for the air conditioner to eventually kick back on so that it creates that white noise that they're not able to hear anything in the house again. But of course, everything that they believe they're hearing turns out to be true. And especially when it came down to that at the end, when I was trying to go to sleep that night after recording that story, my mind just starts going, it starts working incredibly overtime, and just listening to every little sound is like, wait, was that my cat? Do I still have a cat? Where's my, what's going on? So that was a story that absolutely sticks with me. There's always stories about hauntings and things like that that, can end up getting to me, but there's nothing that's ever stuck with me as long as that one does.
That explains my partner gets up really early in the morning from work, and I don't have to get up, but I always do, because it's like, as soon as she leaves the house, I'm by myself in the bedroom, and the noise of her like taking a shower and stuff is gone, and the house is just quiet, and I'm like, I'm gonna wake up now, and I'm gonna go downstairs, and I'm gonna put on headphones and listen to music and work, because I don't like the silence of the house, and she's like, you don't have to get up at 5 in the morning like I do. I'm like, I know, but. And sometimes I even just go lay on the couch and just turn on like YouTube so I have background noise going on while I'm in the house. That story, like, that explains that perfectly. I don't have to be up at 5 a.m., but that means I'm up by myself. And I'm like, oh no, I'll get up and I'll keep you company while you get dressed for work. And I'll lock up behind you and turn the alarm back on while I'm at it and just turn on the TV and not really pay attention, but it's noise, so it's better than nothing.
I was telling you earlier that there's some stories that end up having notorious curses that go along with them.
Yeah, you do.
Like there was Ben Drowned that I worked on before, like I think 5 years ago, and I brought it back for this last weekend. I started doing a recording of Ben Drowned, and notoriously, whenever you work on the recordings or doing videos of Ben Drowned and things like that, for some reason, coincidentally, one way or the other, the project files generally end up getting corrupted or getting shut down and things, and my editor was dealing with that same problem with the sound. Every time he tries opening up the project and exporting it, it just crashes. He had no way of really explaining why it happens. It's just the curse of the story.
Okay, that's...
What you just mentioned is kind of the same thing. There was a recording of a story I did that comes out tonight. There was a story about a haunting, and my wife was gone to go visit her family for Easter at the time, and I was home alone when I was recording the story.
Why did you do that?
I have to work. This is what it is. And I could just hear, for some reason, in the back room, which is our guest room, every time I'm talking about this haunting, it's literally just a story, ghost story, I could just hear things moving around in the other room. And the door always stays closed, because that's the set where we film live action. So there's nothing in there. I know Hercules, our cat, doesn't go in there, because he can't go through the door, but I can just hear things that shift or change inside the room. So it's just like, I'm just gonna just pretend like it's not there. Because that's the best action at this point in time, is if it's not there, then it's not there.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Creepypasta. Where can we find your stuff online?
YouTube.com/Mr. Creepypasta is the best way to find me. I'm also on SoundCloud, and all of my stories get posted as podcasts.
And you're doing more panels throughout the weekend?
Yeah, I have story time in an hour, and at 2 o'clock today, I have how to make your channel successful on YouTube now.
Excellent. Let's give a round of applause. Mr. Creepypasta, the guru of the scary stuff. Our last guest this morning is a very funny man. Definitely an inspiration to me and the people who got me involved with con-scene comedy. I think highly of you. He's not my uncle, but in a way he's everyone's uncle. I'd like to welcome on the show Uncle Yo.
Thank you so much for the open invitation. It's lovely that Con in Wisconsin had to, import their own people of color for it. But we're here to represent. That's the best part of it.
What? I feel gross now.
I've done my part. Great, nice. Is this interview or is this just straight up?
You can just go for it. Go for your set. You can close us out.
No pressure.
Awesome. I mean, are there any recommendations or anime requests or movie requests or comic book things I can just grill upon? First question. Naruto's just wrapped up. Naruto reached 15 years old, which means it is at the age where people both discover and get over Naruto. Mainly because every village is supposedly the hidden village. There's the hidden rock village, and the hidden sand village, and the hidden sound village, and the hidden leaf village. And yet, in episode 2, they show you a map where all the villages are clearly labeled out. And if anyone does not work with the ninja standard, the masters of stealth and sneak attack, it's Naruto who could blend in with like a chain gang in prison. But he's the guy wearing bright orange saying, "I'm a ninja," which is the worst kind of ninja imaginable. Because everyone else in Naruto had a theme. There was like the bug ninja, there was the dog ninja Kiba that our other guest Kyle Bear voices, there's snake ninja, and Naruto has no possible theme because he just makes a bunch of copies of himself. He gets sad, he summons even more frogs. I figured out he's Sasuke's crazy stalker ex-girlfriend ninja who will not get over their first ever kiss, and it's been 15 years and he never has to this point. So as a big guy mentioned, I'm a geek-specific comedian, which is the two hardest careers which I have to do in apostrophes, because you get flack and challenge on both ends. As in, even, so my parents met at a Star Trek convention. Yeah, and you know that's true because I've been up here for 3 minutes, haven't even told you my real name, so obviously our relationship is built on trust. Nothing but trust. So when I got to college and I took over my college's anime club, I also wanted to do the sci-fi club, which had been a college establishment for the last decade, and the tiny woman who ran it came up, "I hear you like Star Wars." Yes, who does? It's space swords, laser ships, and Wookiee. What's not to love about Star Wars? Yeah? Prove it! Where's your Rebel Alliance tattoo? Have you ever read the novels? Do you have George Lucas's pubic hair framed on your bedroom wall? What does it matter to anyone else? How I or any of us love the media that we do. We find it, we consume it, we identify with it, we love it. You have no right or no possible position to ever tell someone that they can't love something. And any Star Wars fan knows that the Lucas pubes go on the living room wall, so that everyone has a chance to spit on them. Thank you so much for making it out to the panel, everybody.
Sorry to put you on short notice, Uncle Yo. I thank you for showing up at all. This has been, this has been the first episode of the show, so I feel very honored that we've had some very talented people join us this morning. Obviously, Uncle Yo did some great stand-up here. Brichibi Cosplay and Mr. Creepypasta, you guys are giants as far as I'm concerned, and I thank you so much for giving this Wayne's World-esque talk show a shot. So,
Yes! Party time.
Excellent. That's as good. We're not quite Great White North yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to the first ever episode of Talk-Oyaki with Nick Izumi. I'd like to thank all of the people who put work in to bring this together, because it was a lot more than just me. Miles Ripabano, who did the writing here. Amy, come on, stand up, guys. You're a hero. Scott Logan, stand up in the back. Writers of the show. Sarah Wells, who isn't here right now, who did so much to make sure that this would get off the ground. A real hero. All of you guys did such a great job. This is only the beginning. Takoyaki Entertainment, we're here. We're surprisingly hard to get rid of. Swing by Q to get our business cards. Swing by the panels of all these great, very funny people. Uncle Yo, where else can we find you this weekend?
30 seconds, I'm going next door to run Magical Girl Boot Camp. 2 p.m. is the stand-up hour. 5 p.m. is the theatrical side of jamming. I'm your halftime show at the Cosplay Masquerade, and then we're going to be doing Guests Against Humanity tonight with Samurai Dan and Jill.
Nice. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm Nick Izumi. This is Takoyaki, and you have a great No Brand Con. And if you want a little bit more comedy this weekend, don't forget, Takoyaki Entertainment is doing Pokemon Jeopardy later this afternoon. 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. So swing by that. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Have a great day.